Hey, this is James Decon, and I wanted to talk a little bit about a tool that I've been working on for quite a while, and it is a 3D editor for libGDX. The tool is called Mundus, and what you're seeing here is the runtime made for the editor for libGDX. So this is running on libGDX using the Mundus runtime, and I've been working on the tool for a while. I don't think I've mentioned it before. If we can find it on GitHub under my profile. If we head over, here's the tool called Mundus. And now I didn't originally create this tool. It was originally authored, I believe, by MBR Labs, and they worked on it back. MBR Labs and other contributors as well worked on Mundus in 2015, 2016, a lot from what I could tell. And then at some point, I think they decided to move on, and they stopped working on it. So what I did is I created a fork of Mundus originally, and then I created a standalone branch off of that fork. So it can be a little bit confusing. If you're looking for Mundus, you may find this version, and it's not the version that I've been working on. But I have my own repository here. I haven't changed the name or anything like that. And you can see by the commits that quite a bit of work has been done since that original version there. And so another reason why I'm making this video is I just released the version 0.40, which has a lot of changes to Mundus. And I won't lie to you and say that Mundus is a completely game ready, production ready tool that you can take tomorrow and start building a full featured game with. But it is a pretty powerful tool as is, and it's been used so far to create a couple jam games. And if we scroll down here, we can see I've linked them in the README. Ants Games has made 2 now, and he's provided a lot of valuable feedback to me when working on the 0.40 version. He was basically my guinea pig, learning and running into bugs and letting me know the issues that he was having with the Mundus editor, and we were able to make a lot of changes based on that. And then I also have a game here called the Time Cruise that I did for the previous libGDX game jam, and all 3 of these are actually playable in a browser. So if you want to try them out just to get a feel for Mundus, you can do that. Playing on a web browser is pretty tough, so there's a lot of performance issues. So what you see in the web browser isn't showing the best capabilities, but it shows you that it can do it. And what I'm hoping also to do with this video is to maybe get some attention or interest from others who would like to contribute and help build the tool, because I've learned over the last 6 months or so that building something like this is a lot of work, and it's tough when you're you're working on your own. Now, I have actually had a few people contribute, which is awesome. Yuri and DGZT have done some contributions as well as documentation, which is very helpful. I'd love to get some more interest going and contributions going. I try to, when I list issues in here, if I think they're a good first issue, I'll try to label them with that good first issue label. So if you're interested in working on the tool or learning about it, these are good issues to look at if you want to try and help out. And lastly, I'm just going to go ahead and show the editor real quick. I'm going to show a couple of the big changes that I made for 0.40, just so you can actually see it in action rather than just me talking about it. And so with that, I'm going to launch the editor here, but I've also included the binaries to run the editor in the 0.40 release. So you could download, and let me bring that back up here just to show you. On the Mundus page, if we go to releases, the 0.40, you can scroll down, and if you want to, you can download the binary jar file and run the editor that way, or you can clone the repository and run it from your IDE as well. So here's the editor up and running, and it's running that example project that I had in the beginning. And that example project is also available under my GitHub profile. If we go to repositories, we should find it. Here it is, the Mundus runtime example. So that's where you can view the runtime version if you want to see how that looks. And so now back to the editor. Let's just look at two of the two of the more major changes in 040. One is that we can now import GLTF files, and it took a lot of work, but thanks to the GDX GLTF library and MGSX, I was able to implement the PBR shaders and all of the GLTF loading from the GDX GLTF library. So that was a nice change. So all the model rendering code has been pretty much rewritten, redone, and now it's using a slightly customized version of the GDX GLTF PBR shader. So I just imported that slime model. If we go down, we can filter by model assets here. I can click the slime model, and I'm just going to place it on the beach here, just so we can take a look at the PBR material change. And it's slightly dark, so if I go to ambient lighting, I'm just going to increase this a little bit. And now let's take a look at the slime. And now this is our new material widget from 040. And I can change, for example, I can change the roughness of the slime. And let's scale them up a little bit here just to... Oh, let me see, I lost them. Here we go. I'll scale them up this way. There. So if we take a look now, we can change this roughness value, make them extra smooth and shiny, or we can increase that. So this is a really awesome change with the PBR shader. We get access to a lot more attributes here. We can even increase the normal scale here, make it really nasty looking, or we can tone down the normals a bit by sliding it down to 0.5. So that's one of the changes from the GLTF and the PBR shader. Really nice change. And one other change I'll show off is including, so I added a new component called light components, because the way that Mundus works is you have game objects, and then game objects have components on them. For example, this game object has a model component. So to show off some lights, first let's make the scene dark by, we'll start with the skybox. So let's change it to a night sky. And you notice that there's this white kind of gradient going on here, and that's part of the fog. We could either turn the fog off, or even better yet, I can just bring the fog in real close and change the color of the fog to be black. And now we have a kind of nice effect here where it's just getting dark in the distance, it kind of fades into dark here. Let's make that 600. And so that looks pretty nice. We still need to turn down the lighting though, so let's go to our environment and drop the ambient lighting down. And then I'll also go to our directional light and bring the intensity down on this as well. Maybe try to get some kind of moonlight going here. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add a new empty game object, and that should appear over here in the corner. So I'm going to now add a component to this game object, a light component. That's the only component available right now, custom component we can add. So once that's added, I'm going to bring the game object over this way, and you can see that light component's on there, and it's actually reflecting off the water, which is really nice. The light is also affecting the terrain as well as models around it. So we can increase the intensity of this light. We can also increase the distance based on some preset values. That's way too much. So there we go. Tone it down a little bit, and let's go with 160 here. That's one of the new features is these point lights and also spotlights. So if I click this, it won't be easy to see at first, but if we increase the distance on this spotlight and increase the intensity, we can now start seeing the cone of that spotlight. We can rotate it around. You can even reduce that cone, and we can make it more visible here. So these are two other features added in on 040 are these lights. There are a lot more features. Now, if I go ahead and save this project, I'll just show you how easy it is to make changes and see them live in your runtime in your game. So I save the project, and now I'm going to relaunch the the example project here. And there we go. So the changes I made are now running on the new the runtime example, and we can see that spotlight's there. So really easy to just open the editor, make some changes to your project, save it, and then you can launch your actual game using the runtime and see those changes right then and there. That's all I have for today. Like I said, definitely check out if you're interested. check out the repository called the Mundus repository under my profile here. I'll put a link to it in the YouTube description as well. And if you want to see everything that was added in 0.40, it's a long list. You can check it out, click on the PRs, and see what we've been doing. All right, thanks for watching.